back children. Today we are going to discuss about the union government or the central government. In this lesson we are going to discuss about the two houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and about their structure, membership, qualification and functions, and about the Prime Minister, the President and these powers and functions. So let us start the session. Some countries following unitary form of the government, in which one central government controlling the entire nation. But India has federal form of the government, in which there is a union government at the center and state governments in the states. That's why administrative powers are shared between the central government and the state government. Those powers are divided as central list, state list and concurrent list. Administrative powers are shared between the central government and the state government. But the central government has been given maximum powers by considering the unity and integrity and even security of the nation during emergencies. Maximum powers are given to the central government. The parliament or the central government exercises its power through the legislature, executive and judiciary. It exercises its power through the legislative, executive and judiciary. So let us discuss about the central legislature. So in parliament mainly two aspects we are going to discuss, that is union legislature and union executive. So union legislature is also called as central legislature or parliament or Sansad. By any name you can call that one. Union legislature, central legislature, parliament or Sansad. So we can call it by any name. So India has adopted parliamentary form of the government. Article 79 of our constitution provides for the creation of parliament. The parliament consists of two houses. One is the Lok Sabha and another one is Rajya Sabha. So it consists of two houses. One is Lok Sabha and another one is Rajya Sabha. Our parliament is in bicameral structure. It consists of two houses. Let us discuss about those two houses. So the first we are discussing about Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is also called as lower house. It is also called as lower house. So maximum number of seats in Lok Sabha are 545. So maximum number of seats in Lok Sabha are 545, out of which 543 are elected from states and union territories. 543 members are elected from states and union territories. Every state has a fixed number of Lok Sabha seats. Even Karnataka has 28 Lok Sabha seats. So 543 members are elected from states and union territories. 2 members are Anglo-Indians. Another 2 are Anglo-Indians. So nominated by the president. So what do you mean by Anglo-Indians? Anglo-Indians are those persons whose one parent is from the Britain and another one parent from the India. So one parent is from Britain and another one parent from India. So their next generation children, we call them as Anglo-Indians. So 2 Anglo-Indians are nominated by the president. It is also called as lower house. Next, house of people. It consists maximum number of people as a member, so that why it is also called as house of people. Members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. So they are elected by the people through the general election for the period of 5 years. So Lok Sabha members, they can serve for 5 years. So they are directly elected by the people through the general election. Then how this house get dissolved? So this house dissolves completely. So naturally after serving 5 years or after completion of 5 years, the house get dissolved. So one more general election is held and new government will come to the power. Sometimes even before 5 years, the government get dissolved. The Prime Minister, on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, the President may dissolve the Lok Sabha. Prime Minister recommends for the dissolution. On their recommendation, the President has the right to dissolve the Lok Sabha. So like the Lok Sabha get dissolved even after 5 years, after completion of 5 years and even before 5 years also. This house is headed by Speaker and Deputy Speaker. So these two members are elected from among themselves. One member as a speaker and another member as a deputy speaker. So then what is the role of the speaker in Lok Sabha? So speaker has some respectable position in Lok Sabha. He has a respectable position in the Lok Sabha. He has to conduct all the proceedings of the house impartially. It is his duty to conduct all the proceedings impartially. Next, all members including Prime Minister must give respect to the Speaker. He should maintain the dignity and decorum of the house. He should maintain the dignity of the Lok Sabha. So all members including Prime Minister must give respect to the Speaker. So in the absence of Speaker, Deputy Speaker, he has to conduct the proceedings of the House. When bill gets equal number of votes for and against them, then the Speaker casts his vote. It means his vote becomes the deciding one. So that vote decides the approval or rejection of the bill. So when bill get equal number of votes, so he put final vote. His vote decides whether the bill get approved or not. So this is about Lok Sabha. So it is also called as lower house. Then we are going to discuss about Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is called as upper house. See the details. So maximum number of seats in Rajya Sabha are 250. So maximum numbers of seats in Lok Sabha are 250. So out of 250, 238 members are elected by the states and union territory members. States and union territory elected members put vote for these 238 members. They are not elected together. They are elected part by part. They are not elected together. States and union territory elected members, state assembly members, they put for these 238 members. They put vote for these members. Next, another 12 members are nominated by the president. So these members are experts in different fields. They are experts in different fields like art, literature, science, technology, social service, even in sports. So such experts are nominated to the Rajya Sabha. 12 such persons are nominated by the president for the Rajya Sabha. It is also called as upper house and it is also called as a house of elders. This house is also called as house of elders because they are senior members than the Lok Sabha members. That why this house is called as house of elders. And these Rajya Sabha members are elected for the term of 6 years. So then how this house get dissolved? This house never get dissolved completely. Part by part get dissolved. So 1/3 portion of members get retired after every second year. So after every second year, 1/3 portion get retired and same portion is elected once again for the Rajya Sabha. So after serving 6 years, they part by part they get retired. That's why this house is called as permanent house. This house is headed by chairman and deputy chairman. Always vice president acting as a chairman of the Rajya Sabha. In the absence of chairman, deputy chairman has to conduct the proceedings of the house. So then, what are the qualifications required for a member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? So almost all qualifications are same except regarding their age. Only age matter differentiate in these two aspects. So what are the rest qualifications same in these two aspects? The first one is the person should be a citizen of India. He or she should not hold any office of profit under government. The person should not be an unsound mind, and the person should not have been punished under law. Next, he should possess certain qualifications as specified by the parliament from time to time. So all these qualifications are same both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but only the difference is their age. So the minimum age in order to contest Lok Sabha election, that is 25 years. 25 and above one, they can contest the Lok Sabha election. And for Rajya Sabha, the minimum age is 30 years. 30 onwards, they can contest Rajya Sabha elections. So these qualifications are required in order to become a member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Next, we are going to discuss about powers and functions of the Lok Sabha. It means powers and functions of the parliament together. So those powers are divided into these heads. So the first one is legislative powers, administrative powers, financial powers, judicial powers, power to amend the constitution and other powers. Let us discuss these one by one. So the first one is legislative powers. The parliament makes laws for the entire country. It can frame laws on subjects mentioned in the central list. The financial bill is only presented in the Lok Sabha, and even other bills can be presented in both the houses. So both the houses approval is necessary in order to pass the bill. When the bill gets, it means when there is a discussion or disagreement in between the two houses regarding bill, the president may call the joint session of the parliament to resolve the matter. When there is a disagreement between two houses regarding any bill, the president may call the joint session of the parliament and resolve the matter. So then afterwards it is forwarded to the president for the final approval. The parliament makes laws for the entire nation. So earlier it called as bill. After the approval of the president, it is considered as a law. The next one is administrative powers. Here the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers form the executive. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers form the executive. The central cabinet is responsible for the parliament. Members of parliament can ask questions which must be answered by the ministers. The central cabinet or the cabinet is in power as long as they enjoys the trust of the legislature. That's why if they loses the confidence of the legislature, then it has to resign. The cabinet has to resign. Whenever in such a situation is there, so they pass the motion of confidence. The ruling party pass the motion of confidence, otherwise opposition party they can pass the motion of no confidence in the Lok Sabha. Next one is financial powers. The Lok Sabha exercises total control over the financial matter of the nation. The government, if they want to impose any tax or spend any amount, they need approval of the Lok Sabha. Approval of the parliament is also necessary there. The financial bill is presented first in Lok Sabha. After the approval of the Lok Sabha, then it is sent to the Rajya Sabha for the further discussion. The Rajya Sabha, they can send suggestions and directions regarding that bill to the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha sent its consent within 14 days. Otherwise, the bill is considered as accepted, then it is forwarded to the President for the final approval. Then after the final signature of the President, so the bill get passed in the Lok Sabha, considered as passed in the Lok Sabha and even Rajya Sabha. Next one is judicial powers. So both the houses of parliament have authority to remove the judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court through the motion of impeachment. The parliament has a right to remove the judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court through the motion of impeachment. So that matter kept discussion in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So both the houses approval is necessary to remove the judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court. So by passing the motion of impeachment. Next one is power to amend the constitution. Both the houses have equal power to amend the constitution. Approval of both the houses is necessary to amend laws in the country. If only one house approves the amendment of the constitution and another house does not, then the amendment cannot be carried on. Both the houses approval is necessary in order to amend the constitution. By bringing Amendment Act, after the approval, by bringing the Amendment Act, they amend the law. Next one, other powers. So even some other powers the parliament enjoys. So first one, it has a right to frame the laws regarding jurisdiction and powers of the High Court and the Supreme Court. It has a right to frame laws regarding the powers and jurisdiction of the High Court and the Supreme Court. The Parliament has a right to establish one High Court between two or more states. Next one, it has a right to discuss the matters of, it means reports of Financial Commission, UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, Election Commission, Backward Classes Commission. So such reports, department reports are discussed in the parliament. Even the parliament has a right to declare emergency during unnatural situation. They can impose national emergency, state emergency and financial emergency in the country. So all these powers in the hand of the parliament. The parliament exercises all these powers. Thank you children. See you in next class.